Have you ever wondered what it truly means to build your house on the rock? The Gospel of Matthew tells us about two houses, one that stood firm against the storm and another that collapsed. But what if the story isn't just about a physical house? What if it's about us? Let me tell you a story. A very sad story inspired by this teaching of Jesus. In a small, forgotten village lived a man named Thomas. He was a quiet carpenter, living all alone, had no wife, no children, and no siblings. The only soul he shared his life with was his old, faithful dog, Buddy. Thomas was known throughout the village as the man who helped everyone but had no one to help him. He would mend his neighbors' broken roofs without asking for a single coin. He would share the little food he had with those who had even less. He fed the stray animals that wandered through the village streets. Silently he prayed. Humbly he lived. But life, it seemed, was never kind to Thomas. His own house was a testament to his struggle. It was made of weak, patched-up wood that seemed to groan with every gust of wind. The walls would shake, even during small storms, and when the rain came, his roof dripped relentlessly, like a faucet that could never be turned off. Yet, he endured. He remained strong, for Buddy, for himself, and for the unwavering faith he held deep within his heart. He never abandoned it. Then, one night, the storm he had always feared arrived. It wasn't just any storm. It was the strongest the village had seen in years. The thunder roared like a furious beast, and the wind screamed, tearing through the trees. Rain poured down from the heavens, as if the sky itself was breaking open. Inside his fragile home, Thomas held Buddy close, could feel the small dog trembling, and he was trembling too. With tears streaming down his face, he whispered into the roaring darkness, "Lord, I don't understand why life has to be this hard, but you are still my foundation. You are my rock." The storm intensified. It grew more violent with each passing minute. Sheets of metal were ripped from his roof and sent flying into the night. He heard the sickening sound of wood cracking under the immense pressure. The very ground beneath him seemed to shake, and then it happened. A violent, furious gust of wind slammed against the side of his house with unimaginable force. In one horrifying, deafening moment, the entire wall collapsed. Thomas screamed, instinctively shielding Buddy with his own body as debris flew around them. His home, the small, humble shelter he had worked so hard to maintain, was gone. It vanished in a matter of seconds. For the rest of that long, cold night, he sat on the muddy ground, completely drenched, shaking uncontrollably, and weeping. He wept for his loss, for his hardship, for the question that echoed in his soul. How could a good man, a man of faith, suffer so much? When the first light of morning broke through the gray clouds, his neighbors emerged from their homes to assess the damage. They found Thomas sitting among the ruins of what was once his house. He was shivering, homeless, with absolutely nothing left but the clothes on his back and the dog in his arms. They rushed over to him, their hearts filled with pity. They expected to find him consumed by anger, bitterness, or complete despair. But Thomas did something none of them could have predicted. He slowly, painfully stood up. He wiped the tears from his eyes with a muddy hand. And then he began helping them. He started repairing their broken fences, lifting heavy fallen branches from their yards, and checking on their roofs. One of his neighbors, bewildered, approached him and asked, "Thomas, why are you helping us? Look at you. You've lost everything. You've lost the most." Thomas looked at him, and through his pain, a weak, tearful smile formed on his lips. He said, his voice trembling but firm, "My house fell, but my faith didn't. God is still my rock. Everything else is just temporary." And in that profound moment, standing amidst the wreckage, his neighbors finally understood the true meaning of the gospel. Two houses were built, one on rock, one on sand. Storms came to both. It wasn't that the storm spared the house on the rock. It was that the foundation held. Only one house remained standing. Thomas had no physical house left. He had lost his shelter, his possessions, everything he owned. But he possessed something far stronger, something no storm could ever wash away, a foundation that could not be destroyed. This story isn't just about Thomas, it's about all of us. Many of us have houses that have collapsed. Maybe it was a relationship that broke, a promise that was shattered, a dream that died. Perhaps it was a job that ended suddenly, a family that fell apart, or a heart that was broken into a million pieces. Storms will come into every life. They don't discriminate between the good and the bad, the strong and the weak. They are an inevitable part of our human experience. And so, the question Jesus asks us today isn't, will a storm come? But where is your foundation built? Because if your life is built on Him, on the unshakable rock of His love and promises, then you can face the storm. You can cry. Your heart can break. You can lose everything you thought was important. Your entire world might feel like it's collapsing around you, but you will not be destroyed. You see, faith in God is not the promise of an absence of storms. It is not a shield that keeps the winds and the rains away. Instead, God is the rock beneath your feet while the storm rages, while it destroys everything else you once leaned on. He is the constant, the anchor, the one thing that remains when all else is gone. So when your house falls, when your world crumbles, remember Thomas. Remember that what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. Your true home, your true foundation is in Christ, and that is a house that can never, ever be shaken. Thank you for listening. If this story touched your heart, please consider sharing it with someone who might be going through a storm of their own. Remember, you are not alone. Bless you.